done with an outreach at the Boys and Girls Club in Sacramento, and I was sitting down and I was having pizza with a few young girls there, and they immediately called over Hector, the cook that works there. And Hector came over and he sat down and introduced himself to me. And he asked me where we were from, and I told him we were from the Horizon School of Evangelism, and we were going on a Love Out Loud tour, practically showing God's love to people. And he sat down and started to ask me questions, and I shared the love of Jesus with him. I told him how much God loved him and that God had sent me all the way down from San Diego just to tell him that. And he began to share his story with me and how he believed that he had a relationship with the Lord. And it was really interesting because as soon as we started talking about Jesus, automatically all these distractions started happening. Glass started to break, people started running all around us, and I looked at him and I said, Hector, stay with me, don't get distracted. God has sent me here to talk to you, to tell you that he loves you, and you just need to stay focused because he wants you to hear this. And so he was like, okay, you got my attention, I'm focused, let's talk. And he began to share his story with me, and he told me how he had visions of Jesus's mother, Mary. And he was just sharing these dreams and these visions that he had, and I just listened to him, and I kept bringing him back to Jesus, that Jesus was the one that died for him. Jesus was the one that loved him. Jesus was the one that has taken away his sin. And he looked at me and he said, wow, I have shared this story with so many Christians before, and they would always discredit it. They would never listen to me. They would tell me that my dreams were from the devil, and they just always put me down. And for the first time, I feel listened to, and I feel loved and appreciated and valued. And I just kept telling him that God loved him and God had sent us here for him. And he just kept sharing his story with me, and I asked him if he believed in Jesus, and he said yes. And I asked him if he believed that Jesus had died for his sins, and he said yes. And I asked him if he had a relationship with Jesus, and he desperately wanted that and believed that he could have it. And I gave him one of our devotional books, and I asked him if I could pray with him, and he gladly accepted it, and I prayed with him, and it was such an honor and such a blessing to be able to share God's love with him in a practical way.